Hello and welcome to episode I have no absolute idea um, of the Modern Skein podcast. My name is Sharon Graff and I'm the owner of the Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas. And it's been ages since I podcasted. Last time I podcasted from the house because the shop had been closed. The shop is now reopened, thankfully. We are operating on some limited hours though, so just a quick housekeeping. If you're local and are in the area, our shop hours are now 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For the foreseeable future, until we get our next upgrading, I guess is the term, on the whole stay-at-home stuff. But this is a yarn and knitting and crocheting type podcast, not world events or anything like that. So we're going to keep everything on a super positive note today and say welcome back. So hopefully you've missed me. I hope. I know I can't say that I've missed podcasting because there's been several times when I needed to do it and I just haven't done it. But I've been kind of in a funk. I think we all have. But I don't know if it's the light at the end of the tunnel or I'm just fed up. I don't know. But anyway, welcome back. So if you're a returning viewer, like I just said, welcome back. If you're a new viewer, welcome. I hope you stick around. Take a look at some of the past episodes. Please don't go back to number 1 because I don't even know what was going on at number 1, really. It was, I'm sure, a hot mess. So, and yes, I cannot rewatch my podcasts. I just can't. I can't listen to the sound of my own voice. So if you're brave enough to listen to the sound of my voice, I applaud you because I think I sound terrible. But coffee in my... Can't turn this around right. It's so full. Modern Skein. Okay, first things first. Finished objects. As you can see, I have 2 gorgeous sweaters behind me. Both were finished. Both were also started when this whole thing went down. So this is the Velocore Tee by Andrea Mowry. It is knit out of Happy Go Knitty brand Aroha yarn. Aroha is the name of the base. And it's a semi-rustic, non-superwash, beautiful fine gauge wool. It's from New Zealand. And the color here is driftwood. I think, sold out of driftwood now, unfortunately. But we do have several other colors still in sweater quantities. I used, I think, just 2 skeins. And not even quite all the second skein. So this tee doesn't really require a whole lot of yarn. And then the background, so that was the main color. Then the background color, the dark that you see here, let's see if I can get this up closer, because there's 2 colors. Okay, so you can see this line of blue. That is your second contrast color. This is your main contrast color. So that main contrast color is Ching Fibers Merino Fingering in Bluefinch. This little thin line of blue is just some remnants of Brooklyn Tweed's Peary in some steel blue gray kind of color that I had for a hat that I got for Josh. So I literally had, I think they're sold in 50-gram skeins. They're sold in small skeins, so I only had like a little ball this much. Probably had around, I would say, 20 grams. And I didn't even use all of it because you literally use it for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. I mean, you really don't use a whole lot. You can even eliminate that completely and just use your color the whole way through. I've seen that done as well. So Velocore Tee, it's a very nice, it's a very repetitive pattern. So if you're looking for something that is very repetitive in knitting, perfect pattern for you. If you want something that changes constantly, like me, not the greatest of patterns. Just gonna say that. I knit the size 2, which I believe gave me a finished bust of 41, 42. You'll have to double check. But I did knit the size 2. Needle size that was called for. Did not change that. And then up here at the neckline, this is actually on backwards because you're supposed to mimic the bottom ribbing here, which is like a twisted cable stitch and then a twisted rib combination. And so what I did, you're supposed to do that the same up here. So I did that the same for the front, and then on the back, since there's no shaping or whatever, there's no difference between the front and the back. Just so I could tell when I'm putting it on or putting it on the mannequin, I did not do the twisted rib part of the special ribbing on the back side. So this is technically the back and the other side is the front. Just so I have a little, you don't have to do that. I did it partly because I was done with twisted rib. Also, the sleeve caps, they're supposed to be the same textured ribbing. I just did 1 by 1 rib and bound off because I was done. Perfectly honest, I was really over this pattern. It's a great pattern and it's a super cute tee and I love it. I was just done with it. I loved the yarn, everything. It was just the repetitiveness of it. And y'all know me, I don't like super repetitive things. Not ones that take a while on size, 2.5 needles, small needles. Wow, the body is done on, I think, a 4. I think the ribbing was 2.5, and I don't think I had a 2.5, so I think I did on a 2. I'll have to look. I did actually write some notes. Look at that. This is quite possibly my second favorite tee. Is that the front? Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is Sham Boosh number 5. Get it in here, you can see it a little better. Ta-da! So this is it number 5? Number 8? It's a Sham Boosh pattern knit out of Sham Boosh yarn. So this is the lamb's wool. So it's a worsted / Aran weight lamb's wool. It's so dreamy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Petite Lambs wool and lamb's wool are a non-superwash wool from Scotland. The sheep are from Scotland. The yarn is from France. Sheep live in Scotland, go to France. Well, they're pelts. That's not even the right word. I can't think straight this morning. Their wool goes to France, where Astrid and her family have it milled, dyed, and then becomes this beautiful, slightly rustic lamb's wool. And I say slightly rustic because this is not going to feel like merino. This is not going to feel like cashmere. This has a wee bit of a tooth to the wool, but it is by no means scratchy. No means. This has been blocked. It's so good. And like next to skin, I love this. I love non-superwash yarns. I'm starting slowly but surely to bring them into the shop, especially during the winter time because that's more apt of when we can wear them, but they're just so much nicer to work with, in my opinion. Now, that doesn't discount superwash yarn, but there are some attributes of superwash yarn that it grows a whole lot when you block it. Sometimes it can lose its shape. I mean, just a few things. Not saying it's bad by any means. It's a great yarn. Most of my samples in here are superwash yarn. Most of you guys have knit with superwash yarn. It's perfectly fine. But I also want to bring in some really fun natural fibers for you guys. I mean, merino yarn is still a natural fiber. It's just had a process done to it to basically strip it down. Long story short, this, I cannot wait for it to get cool again to wear the snot out of this, because it's oversized. It's like a sweatshirt in styling. So I knit the smallest size, and you can see it's quite large. Now it's supposed to have kind of an oversized fit. The pattern itself, there's only like 4 sizes, like a small, medium, large, and maybe an extra large. But even though she says it's only up to like a 42-inch bust on the largest size, that's with still a ton of positive ease. So I would say even up to a 50-inch bust could easily, fit into that, if not larger. You just have to play around with your swatch and see. My only modifications that I did was down here at the bottom. So this is all to pattern. Then this striped section is supposed to be basically as long as this section, but honestly I was running out of this dark gray and I really didn't want to bust into another skein just for, that much, and it was getting long. So I went ahead and just, when I ran out, I cut it off and then did, this was correct, I think. No, it wasn't. They wanted you to do ribbing, like 6 inches of ribbing, and I just did 2 rows of garter in the cream color and bound off because I wanted it basically straight. I didn't want it to roll on me, and I didn't want it to cinch back in. And I really love the fit of this. Sleeves were done to pattern with the striping and the little cuff. But yeah, it's such a nice sweater. So definitely when y'all come in, you have to take a feel. I love it. Also, La Petite Lambs wool is what a lot of the Espace Tricot patterns are knit out of lately. The Subtle Interruptions shawl and a couple others. That's the La Petite Lambs wool. There's a lot of patterns out there. This would be a good one in La Petite Lambs wool. Ranunculus would be super cute. Gosh, all sorts of things. You could do a Veronica out of the La Grosse. That would be awesome. Anyway, ooh, a Hayward out of the La Petite Lambs wool would be real pretty. And of course, color work. It's fantastic for color work, and if you want to take the opportunity to steek, perfect, because the wool is going to be a little sticky. And my last finished object that's a sweater is this. So this is my Missoni Accomplished. This is a free pattern by Espace Tricot. This is knit or designed by Melissa of Espace Tricot. So, just turning around here. Stay. This yarn, you may be like, I don't recognize that. It's because we don't sell it. Wah wah, I know. I wish I sold it. I do not. This was my Christmas present to myself this past year. I bought it from Espace Tricot. I bought it specifically to be a Missoni Accomplished sweater. I just hadn't cast it on until this whole shelter-in-place thing. And I was like, you know what? Now's the time. So this is La Bien-Aimée. It's the La Bien-Aimée and Rosa Pomar Mondim yarn. So the yarn is Mondim base, which is 100% Portuguese non-superwash wool. Dyed, so that's from Portugal. Then the yarn is sent to La Bien-Aimée, where La Bien-Aimée dyes it. So this color is called Rust, and this is like, I just had to look it up too. Rain Barrel, or it's an odd little name for this color, but it's like, okay, because I would call this like Tin Can or Rusty Metal or something like that, but no, it's like Swallowtail, or it's some like bird name or something. But anyway, from Espostrico. I actually think they still have these two colors in stock because I was looking up. I know they have this one. I don't know if they still have this one. But for me, I knit this exactly to pattern. Exactly to pattern. I know, shock. Not a single modification anywhere. Twisted rib, the same lengths, everything. And so I knit not the smallest size, the second one. So I believe she does numbering as well. So I think it was the size 2. It was believe the finished bust on this is like 41, 42, something like that. Anyway, I managed to squeak out the sweater playing an intense game of yarn chicken with exactly 1 ball of the solid color for the stripes that I actually have some left over, and then 2 exactly of this. I'd recommend getting a third. I did get a third, I just didn't want to really crack open to it because when I ran out of yarn I was literally on this ribbing, so I went and took my gauge swatch and ripped it out and finished the ribbing. So so you can definitely, if you're on gauge, right, which I actually switched. That is the one thing I did. I had to go down in needle size to get the gauge to make the sweater work. But yeah, this is quite possibly, even though I love this, this is my new favorite sweater of all time. It's fingering weight, so it's like I would consider this more of a heavy fingering personally. Not a sport weight, not really truly sport weight, but a heavy fingering. It's just, the fit is amazing. Amazing. It's a loose kind of boxy fit, but it's not like baggy. And the feel of this yarn, again, it's more rustic than this. I will tell you that. It's definitely more rustic, but I love the rustic. So you're welcome to come touch and feel. However, when winter comes around, it's going to be on me. Not going to be a store sample. Just saying. So those are the sweaters. I'm going to move these out of so they're not distracting. Those are the sweaters that I finished. Then I finished a shawl. Actually, I finished 2 shawls. I finished a shawl last night. But this, let me get the right side here for me. This is my Gems and Jewels shawl. Ta-da! I showed this on Instagram. Isn't that pretty? So this is all leftovers and stash of mine. If you pull up the pattern Gems and Jewels, and I forget who it's by, it tells you exactly how many grams you need of each color. So it's a really easy one to use up stash. It's also really fun to just play around with colors in your stash, or you could knit it in, 1 color, or even like 3 colors, just kind of modify the fade. But it is written for 8. And again, you don't need much. Some of it you can get away with mini skeins. Not all of the colors could you get away with mini skeins. So if you had 2 of the exact same color, you could do that. Or if you had like a big mini skein, like a 10-pack fade, or maybe an advent calendar, you could definitely just change your colors more frequently and do like an advent fade. That would be really cool. And I mean, she kind of gives you the formula too. You could make it bigger. I mean, it's really honestly the perfect size. It's not huge like a Find Your Fade. It just pops on. Nothing fancy. It's really nice. My hair's gone so long. I mean, not as long as it was. And I've been running outside. Not every day, but at least 3 days a week. And look how like bleachy blonde my hair is getting. Isn't that crazy? Crazy. Okay. So I finished that. Then, pitch that over there. 2 of our sample knitters finished 2 other shawls for us. So we just have all the new samples. First off, Heather, who works here, finished this. So this is the Caprias Shawl by Aroha Knits. Her name's Frenchie, but she goes by Aroha Knits on Ravelry and Instagram. So this is, look at that beautiful texture. This is knit out of lino, so our 100% wet spun linen from BC Garn. This is like just perfect for summer weather because it's cool, it's breezy. She said it was a really fun knit. And this actually, we shortened the pattern. You could keep going, but this was pretty much exactly 3 balls of yarn of the lino, which they're only $8 a ball. So this is 3, and it's perfectly large enough to just throw over your shoulders, you know, little summery wrap or wrap around your neck, and just 3. So that's what, $24, and then like a $7 pattern. I mean, you can't beat that. So that's a fun, and this pattern is included in our summer knit along, and so is the lino. So if you want to grab this and participate in our summer knit along, it's not over with till August, end of August. You just shoot me an email and tell me that, you know, show me your receipt where you bought this from us and that you want to participate. And then lastly, this is another free pattern from Espace Tricot. This one is made by Lisa, and this is the Evel shawl. And we knit this, I had this knit out of the Wensleydale, the West Yorkshire spinner. Look at the beautiful texture. So there's these little pearl stitches, and I love the halo of this yarn. So it just kind of hides ever so slightly the little, you can really see it there, the little pearl texture bumps. Really nice, simple, triangular shaped shawl, a nice little garter border. Yeah, so this is a nice one. This one will be great in the fall. So Wensleydale is another non-superwash. Great. It has kind of a sheen. I don't know if you can really tell on here, but it has a little bit of a sheen to it because it's 100% Wensleydale sheep. Definitely has a touch of rustic to it, but I love it. And it just makes for a really drapey, like you would think there's almost a bit of a silk content into it. There's not, but it just makes for a really nice shawl. So Evel, free pattern, Espace Tricot. That, oh, I didn't show you the other. This is the shawl I finished last night, not blocked yet. I'm actually thinking I'm just going to steam it. But, dun, 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 dun. This is my Susan Joy shawl, knit out of Suburban Stitchers, Fun, Fun, Fun. So I don't have any Fun, Fun, Fun in stock anymore in the slub, because this is all the slub yarn. Can you see the texture? Hope you can. So I am taking pre-orders for the Fun, Fun, Fun. So if you want it, it will be on pre-order on the website shortly, and then hopefully in the next couple weeks we will have more in stock. So the pattern says 1 skein. Everyone I've talked to said, oh, I have to use at least a skein and a half, especially if I want tassels. Okay, y'all, I got to right here before I ran out of yarn. So if you want that, I was literally on, I got through all 4 repeats and I was just on the border before I ran out of yarn. Now I'd already wound up my second skein and I know I want tassels on here, so that's okay. But if you want to knit this out of just 1 skein of yarn and you don't want tassels, all you gotta do is like take out 1 row or 2 rows out of every garter section. You'll have enough. Now if you want to do this 1 skein and have enough for tassels, then just do 3 repeats rather than 4 of the stitch pattern. That's my recommendation to you. Or get 2 skeins and you have plenty for tassels. It's a shop phone. It's been nothing but sales calls lately. seriously, like people wanting donations, like, sorry, I can't, or you qualified for a cruise, or stupid stuff. Okay. Anywho, so finish that. I need to steam it out and make tassels today. Okay, works in progress. I'm going to show you this. I haven't worked on it, honestly, in like ages. Seems like ages. It's probably only been like 2 weeks. But which one is the front? Is that the back? That's the front. Oh, crap. I just pulled off like a bunch of stitches. Hold on. Hold, please. Continue to hold, please. Told you I ripped off a bunch. Okay. Whew. All right. That's about the front. This is my Sandoval sweater. Ta-da! I'm still on the yoke. But you can see here what I've gotten done. So I'm using Estate Fingering in Her Majesty's Navy colorway by my hubby Josh, Restock fiber. And then Spin Cycle, Dream State that I got from my friend over at the knitting place, Dinah. So if you are looking for Spin Cycle, she's not local, but she is in New York on Long Island and is still shipping, even though her shop is currently closed at this moment. But she has a really nice selection of Dream State and regular the fingering weight Spin Cycle. If she doesn't have it, then check out my friends over at the Knot House. Knot House Yarns, and it's theknittingplace.com, but the Knot House, Kathy and Heather, they have a really cute shop in Maryland. They also have a big selection of Spin Cycle yarn. Kathy and Heather also have Olan. So if you're looking for Olan, they're not sold very much here in the States, but she has a great selection. Kathy will help you out. She's there in the shop, even though they're closed all the time. Call the number, you can get through, she'll do some shopping for you, all that fun stuff. So, one more work in progress. Where'd it go? All my stuff everywhere. Where'd it go? Oh, this is all a tangled mess. Okay. I am knitting the Satellite Shawl by Andrea Mowry. Look how pretty. So main color is Pine by Restock Fiber on Estate Fingering. And then my Surrey colors are Kelvin Grove, Passport, and Gilded. It's coming along nicely. I really like the lightness of this for sure. Okay. I have more works in progress at the house, but we don't need to talk about those. So, we did yesterday get in Hedgehog, and I'm going to show you that. But first off, if you're looking for Making Magazine, the Simple issue, we have it in stock. I say we have it in stock. I have 3 copies left. So if you're looking for it, grab it now, or call me, and we will get it set aside for you. Now, Hedgehog. So, this order I've been waiting for forever and a day, and it's been delayed for multiple reasons, and last but not least, this whole COVID thing. So, there's a lot of DK, but this should have come in when it was cold enough to want DK. But I will go ahead and start with the small amount of single ply that we have, or fingering. Yeah. So if you're like, that's a weird Why are you getting so much DK right now? Well, it was supposed to come a lot earlier, but that's okay. This was supposed to be here like in February. I need to grab this, and you don't want to see my head, all that. Okay, so we restocked a few favorite colors in the fingering. The skinny single. Sin, the ever popular tomato red from Hedgehog. That is fully restocked. This one is always a favorite, Goblin. Also fully restocked. Typewriter, classic, restocked. Libeling, this one flies out every time we get it in. Good neutral, but with some kind of pinks and peaches and oranges. This is also a popular one. Birthday cake, restocked. Very pretty. And then this is restocked. It has a new name though. So if you're familiar with the kimono color, it's been renamed Firefly. That's the exact same recipe. So we have that back in stock. Then we got two of the new colors, on Skinny Single as well. So we got in Insomnia. That's a fun one. And we got in Beetle. Real pretty brown with pink and a little minty green and orange. Very pretty. Okay, so that's all the Skinny Single we got. But we got in the alpaca boucle base. And sorry for my face keep getting near here. It's trying to reach around. There's so much stuff. Okay, let me grab the colors. This is weird. Is that all of it? Yes. Okay. I think so. So we have Sin on the alpaca boucle. So perfect cherry tomato red. This is such a fun color. This is a new one, Boa. Fun multicolor. And the fun thing about alpaca boucle, it's a great substitute for mohair. It's thin, it's not thick like the Surrey, and because it's a boucle, it doesn't shed. Look, I'm pulling at it and it's not coming out. I don't know if you can see that, but it doesn't shed. Yay! And you get over 620 yards because that's 620 meters, so I think it's 640 yards. Math. Anyway, fun new color. This is Wish, really nice kind of teal pool blue. This is also one of the new colors, Insomnia. This is a fun color. This is Bali, one of my favorites. This is Hunter. It's an older color, but it's a new one for us. Real pretty green. This is also a new color. This is Danube. Kind of reminds me of Monet, but not as blue as Monet. Then this is Purple Rain for all of you purple lovers. This is also a new color. This is called Heron. Real pretty neutral with some fun specks. And then this is Crystal. Very light gray. And Cinder, more of a mid-tone gray. Now on to DK. So, oh wait, there's one more boucle. Highlighter, because everybody needs some highlighter in their life, especially in the form of boucle. That's just gonna chain, like, put these two together. It's gonna be fun. Okay. Oh, I can't reach. Okay, so first off, we restocked a few favorites in the DK that we had been out of. Grab them. Yes. Okay, so like I said earlier, kimono has been renamed Firefly, but we got it back on DK as well. Such a pretty color. Got that. We also restocked cedar, so we have the original colors now for you to do the plumpy shawl because we restocked cedar and Brigid. So we already have kelp and clay. That's the other color. So now you can do the original colors if you are so inclined. Now, new colors. So we got almost every single new color that they had. I say almost because there was 2 that are like, or 3 that were like, they're not going to sell here, so we didn't get them. This is Potion. Deep, deep, deep red and pink, and then fun speckles and black. Very pretty. Then we have the same one. This is Heron. Look at that beautiful neutral. This is going to be so great for sweaters or cardigans. Then we have Danube. So think a more green version of Beach Bunny, if you've been familiar with that. This is also a personal favorite of mine. This is called Matchstick. This is like very soft, muted teal gray with orange and brown speckles. It's almost a neutral. It's very pretty. I think a cardigan out of this would be really cool. Then, is this it? Yeah, this is Comeback. So just a really fun kind of multi-speckled on cream base. This is Macaroon. Oh, I didn't get that. I have to go get that. This is Damsel. Very pretty kind of plum mauve colors with teals and greens. Excuse me. This is Insomnia again. This is Beetle. Got that rich brown and the hot pink and a little green. It's really pretty. This is Phoenix. So if you ever have had their color Pheasant that they've had a long time, this is less pink, more red and orange, my opinion. And then let me compare these two. This is a new color called Orion, and you may be like, didn't you just show that? No. Firefly is a wee bit different. Just a little bit. More blue, more green. Really. I mean, it still has the blues, but it's definitely got more greens, neons in it, Orion versus Firefly. And then there's one more color I forgot to bring over here. This is Bijou. So it's a little similar to Comeback. This is lighter. This has heavier speckling. We've already sold out of all but these 2 skeins of Bijou. So most of them I still have sweater quantities for, not Bijou. And there's a couple others. But most I still have sweater quantities for, meaning I have 8 or more skeins of each of those. So, well, by now, most of them I just have about 8. So, if you're looking for basically 8 skeins of, which, I mean, that gives most sweaters, maybe not cabled sweaters or long tunic-y type sweaters, but most people can knit a very inclusive size out of 8 skeins. Yeah. Run out of things to talk about. Oh, no, I haven't. We did get in right before we had to close these 2 things. This is the Crafting Kraken bag. Got crochet hooks and knitting needles and all the things. And it says, "Let's get crackin'." And then this is a really cool bag. It says, "Use your hands, knit," and then sign language. And then on this side, it says, "Make something, crochet." Also with the ASL sign language. That's a fun little bag. Both of these are in stock. And as you can see, our bag wall here, we've got a couple Pleistra backpacks left. We've got By the Bay Company bags. We've got the Knitters backpacks here. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff. We've also made a few upgrades to the website, so it should be a little more user-friendly for you now. Then we also have a link about the knit-along, summer knit-along, and links directly to the patterns and the yarns and things like that. We also have kind of some featured samples on the website as well with more information. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I am going to get ready and open up the shop, and hope you guys have a great day, and hope to see you in the shop soon. Bye.